welcome.
Welcome, everybody, to event number 2. The Winter Classic Series, the tournament series here.
Double Green Chip Bounty Tournament today.
Yeah. My name is Maxwell Rossi. I'm joined in the booth with Adam. We're bringing you guys the action on this replay. It says live at the reserve, but this will be aired later on, right?
Yeah, we're playing this on Tuesday. I believe it is going to air on Friday.
I think it'll be put together with a couple of the other events. We had the Pot Limit Omaha tournament last night. 5K guarantee. That was a big one. A big turnout.
Yeah,
a lot of chips in play.
Huge turnout for that.
That's one that a lot of people look forward to, especially players that don't get a chance to play a lot of PLO.
Yeah, you really saw and heard a lot of the Hold'em players. They really liked it last night. Get to mix it up. Although I did hear a couple of them today saying that they were happy to be back to
the 2-card?
The 2-card, yeah.
A little bit more...
it's too crazy for them.
I was going to say, it's a little bit easier to follow for sure. Eddie's going to go ahead and get us ready to go here. We've been playing since about 6:15, all these tournaments. All of the evening flights start at 6:15. We've got tomorrow the $10,000 freeze-out tournament, 10K freeze-out, starting a little bit deeper stack than some of the normal tournaments here. That was a request by the players. It'll be a fun tournament. That means no re-entries, no add-ons.
Yeah, so that'll be playing on Wednesday. But again, by the time you guys watch this, that is already going to have happened. I believe that one's going to air on Saturday.
And then Thursday kicks off the first flight at 6:15 p.m. of the main event, 100K main event. $100 buy-in, unlimited re-entry.
50K guarantee. That's going to be a huge turnout.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one. Excited to play in that one for sure.
All right, I commentated that PLO tournament last night. I got to get back into Hold'em mode.
Yeah. It's tough to commentate over the PLO games, man, because they are just, there's so much, the graphics are constantly changing. Everything is moving so quickly.
Yeah, literally, it's like, oh, wow, player A has 7, 8, 9 jack, and he folded? But then you don't even have a chance to really talk about it. You don't get a chance because it's bang, 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 on to the next one.
Yeah, Pot Limit Omaha definitely comes in spurts. See a lot of limping, a lot of passive play, only to then see a burst of action once everybody starts either making nutted draws or nutted made hands. Chris is going to go ahead and start us off here. Seeing a lot of players I'm unfamiliar with on this final table. That's pretty interesting. Some new players.
Yeah, I believe I've seen Chris here a couple of times. But you're right. We have definitely seen some new faces here so far in the first couple days of our series.
Oh, it's Stacy here going to go ahead and raise to 300,000. 15 big blinds.
2 folds. 3 folds.
I see Jack back at the final table. The man's a crusher.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you'll see some familiar. Monster, man. You'll see some familiar faces here as well.
Absolutely. This is a really awkward spot for Tony here. This is just such a massive raise. I mean, this screams an extremely strong hand. Let's see what Tony opts to do.
Get him, Tony. Get him.
Go ahead and opt to fold here. I think a wise decision.
Yeah, I like that fold from Tony.
In the grand scheme of things, again, that is a very large raise. 15 big blinds.
Yeah, with the size of that raise, I think it screams more 9s, 10s, jacks. You know, you don't really. I mean, yeah, ace king's there, but from Tony's position. Huge raises like that are usually one of those like middle high pocket pair type hands where 7s are just dominated.
So that stack of black chips that you see Chris on the left side of your screen there handling, those are the bounty chips. Those are redeemable for $50 up at the front of the cage. When a player goes all in, they'll put 1 chip from their stack forward. And if they lose, that'll get added to the stack of the person who then knocked them out.
1 bet, 75,000.
Yeah, so if you do happen to see a player just put that 1 single chip in, that does signify an all-in bet. Pink chips are worth 5,000. Yellows are worth 25,000.
3 folds.
That's what they keep saying.
4 folds.
You're the man down here?
5 folds.
Phil,
Guys, slow down. 6
Did
folds.
Panda just fold 9s?
7 folds.
Panda did fold 9s.
I think.
my man.
Wow. And if that graphic's correct, Owen opened for half of his stack, 75K, and he has 80K back.
8 calls.
He's going to go ahead and Owen is trying to keep some money back. The players are conscious of the pay jumps. When you've got a lot of people at the bottom end there
All in.
on boards that are like low and connected, he can kind of just check back. On a board like this though, where he's got a lot of high card hands,
Yeah,
this might make sense to put some pressure on. We're targeting.
personally, I'm not a fan of, I mean, I like that kind of smaller size raise with relative to his stack size if he has a super premium, you know, maybe kings, aces, queens. But with a hand like ace-10 off, I'd like to see him just put all his chips in there to still have some fold equity.
Full equity is good. On the counterpoint of that, you know, kind of the other thing to consider when you use larger sizings, that means when you get called, you're more likely to be behind. And so ace-10 off is a hand. He kind of chose like an in the middle sizing, which is unique. This is something that you might see more like an online play where players want to keep a little bit of money back for additional fold equity.
And it works. Wow.
I'll go ahead and get through here. And we're at this stage of the tournament where every little pot matters. Every single big blind matters to these players.
Well, that was basically a double up there.
Exactly. It's such a large portion of your stack whenever you win a single pot, when there's this many big blinds out there in the field. We'll go ahead.
Stacy's our chip leader with 805K. Got a decent size lead over our next player. Second place, 515. All the way down to, was that 120K for our short stack?
Yeah, I saw just a couple big blinds there. I think about 6 big blinds. Some players hovering in that 6 to 10 big blind area. Jacob here. Pocket 10s.
We lost our player audio, so you guys are going to have to bear with us for a minute. Although I don't know why you'd want to listen to anything else but maxing out.
Jacob's going to go ahead and rip it in here. Dave C with a difficult decision on 6 big blinds. Tony behind with 9s. Dave going to go ahead
Dave
and
decides to put it in.
can't blame him here with just 6 big blinds.
Tony's asking for a count. And I think this is going to be too strong of a hand for Tony to fold here.
210,000.
Knowing his playing style, I don't see him letting this one go. Typically not afraid to put chips in the pot. There's the all-in.
He's going to go
7's all in.
over the top here with the 9s.
8 folds. That's my boy Tony. 9 folds.
The collective
So you got
unit that is the rest of the non-all-in players are all rooting for Tony. Looking for a 9 on the flop here.
Hey,
2
I
pay
mean,
jumps at risk.
when you're sitting there and 2 pay jumps are staring you in the face,
Absolutely. Tony wouldn't mind it either. He's got $100. Again, those bounty chips worth $50 in this tournament.
some people will say they're not rooting for players to get busted, but I call those people liars.
Yeah. Not in a tournament. You're looking to ladder.
so
It can be all good off the felt, but
Yeah, exactly.
on the felt, man, it's a different story.
no, I get both of them. He can only get this one.
There we go.
Great flop there for Dave. He picks
Some-
up 4 additional outs.
Looking. That's not going to get it done.
10s are going to hold.
Jacob is going
Jacob's
to
going to
about
get
2.5x his stack
Yeah.
and win a bounty.
pretty close to a triple up there.
Yep.
And a bounty, yeah.
Pretty fortunate to run the 10s into 2 lower pairs, particularly. You can't blame Dave in particular for wanting to call. He had about 6 big blinds with pocket 6s. And these blind levels jump pretty aggressively. you
Yeah.
know. Now, the interesting thing about live tournament poker that I've noticed and some things that I've watched, or witnessed rather, from some of the real crushers at this tournament is that these blind levels take a long time to go through. You know, when you watch online poker, for example, there is no person that has to shuffle the cards, deal them out. Everybody's on a time bank. Things move by pretty quickly, and so those blinds come through a lot more frequently. In a live tournament, the blinds come through a lot less. That means you can be a little bit more selective about the hands that you want to play.
Right back in it with the same hands from last hand. So Jacob is under the gun +1. He's going to be first to act here. And Jack is going to be right behind him. And he's going to go ahead and rip it in.
4 foes. 5 foes. 7 foes. You ain't found it. 8 foes. 9 foes.
It's going to be an awfully tough decision here for Jacob. Not getting a particularly good price on this call. There's obviously ahead of hands like ace-king and ace-queen that might do this.
No, just about 1.5 to 1. If he makes the call, he's going to leave himself with 275 behind.
Well, this kind of gets back to what I was saying. You know, Jack has 15 big blinds here. 15 big blinds in these sorts of structures, it's actually a lot. It's like the equivalent of 25 to 30 big blinds online, which you see a lot more.
Yeah, 15 big blinds is huge.
Pre-flop non, all-in 3-betting, for example. Things where the players want to keep chips behind. But obviously from Jack's perspective, he doesn't really have much of an option. It would be extremely difficult to...
And he decides to stick it in there. Not going to be
call.
happy. Not going to be happy with the situation that he's in.
Jack in a commanding position here to get a full double up.
Oh, right in the window.
Oh,
Oh,
you
a
heard
6
it.
in the
You heard it
window.
right in the window. But he's got hearts.
Jack looking for a 10 and a 10 only, or a heart.
Oh! Would you say Jack is running well right now in his life?
Jack does run pretty
Would
well.
you say that?
When you play good and run good,
Yeah.
it's a tough combination to beat. Ultimately, the better hand ended up winning, but nonetheless, a pretty sick beat.
Yeah, a lot of new faces, but you'll definitely notice some familiar ones as well.
Absolutely, JT there to Jake's right. JT, I was playing at his table a little bit earlier. Pretty short stacked. Looks like he's made a comeback. Navigated some potentially treacherous waters pretty well.
I mean, at this point, I'd say there isn't a hotter tournament player playing at the reserve than Jack. He just won the Big Black Friday tournament. What did he finish? Third? He finished third in another big one like a month or 2 months ago.
4 foes.
Yeah, he's done really well.
5 foes.
This is part of what happens again, like I was saying. You play good and you run good. It's tough to it's tough for your opponents to do anything but lose to you.
And Tony deciding to raise it up here with ace-8 suited in the hijack. Chris picking up ace-queen. Tony made it 60K with 155 behind. And again, just knowing Tony's playing style, I don't see him folding right here. Sorry if we hurt your ears there, guys.
Liking our man Stacy's bling here. He's got that blinged out middle finger ring, some nice sunglasses. Love to see the apparel.
And there it goes.
Tony's gonna go ahead and make the call.
They're going to confirm whether they want to run it once or twice. Just joking, guys.
Here we go. Off to a river. One club working for Tony. No longer the clubs.
He's looking for an 8 and an 8 only.
It's not going to get it done.
Not
Tony's
gonna do
gonna
it.
be eliminated. Chris picks up yet another $50 bounty. Tony's eliminated in 9th place. Congrats to Tony for the deep run.
Yeah, tough there with the 9s against the 10s. With so shallow stacks, it's tough to get away from a hand like that. If we're deep stacked, you know, everybody's 60, 80, 100 blinds, I think it becomes a hand where he doesn't have to go broke there.
Stacy, Jack, and Chris up there at the top. In the payout structure, there's a little over 1,800 up there for first. Well, a little over 1,200 for second. Plenty of bounties, as you can see. Most of these players have more than a few bounty chips in front of them.
And shout out to JT, back-to-back final tables in the first 2 events of the series here.
JT, he's a reinvented man. He's got a new new appetite, a new palate. He was telling me at his table. He's been doing really well with his new diet, changing up the way that he eats. It's helping him sleep, giving him more energy, and he looks great. You can really tell.
Yeah, that man must have had to buy a whole new wardrobe. He's definitely looking great. Lost a lot of weight.
Owen here on the short stack. 7 big blinds here. Go ahead and get it in with ace-10 suited. I think Sherry has a call here with king-queen suited. Gonna be flipping a lot even when your opponent has an ace.
And she does make the call.
Gonna have good equity here. Collective field here, rooting for a king, queen, or some diamonds. Off the c5 again with Eddie.
Ooh.
Oh, how about a juicy flop
That's
here?
a
Top
juicy
2
flop.
for Sherry. But a gutter and nut spades here for Owen. He's not going to get it done, but it does give him a few more outs than an ace. Oh, 5 of spades on the river.
Huge double up there for Owen.
Owen's going to go ahead, get a full double. Can't fault either player there. Both with some pretty decent holdings and short stacks. That makes for some pretty big action play. And when Eddie gets the cards flying in the air, you never know what's going to happen. While he shuffles up that next hand, we'll introduce our first sponsor of the evening, Carpet Spectrum. Located at 1855 South Reynolds Road, right here in Toledo. Owned by David Joseph, Anthony Lamb, head of sales over there. Carpet Spectrum, home of all your flooring and floor care needs. Family owned for 18 years, supplying and installing floor covering ranging from carpet, luxury vinyl planking, Hardwood, ceramic, and laminate. Carpet Spectrum is home of one of the largest remnant rooms in Toledo and the surrounding area. Come on in. Mention you saw the ad on the Reserve Poker Club live stream. Receive 20% off your next order. That's 20% off your next order when you mention the Reserve Poker Club live stream at Carpet Spectrum over on South Reynolds Road.
JT under the gun. 265, and he rips it all in.
1 fold. 2 folds. 3 folds.
And he picks up the blinds.
Important note on the structure, too, of a lot of the Reserve Poker Club tournaments. There is a big blind ante, which can create a lot of action.
Imagine that, though. You win the tournament knowing
You kind of think about your number of big blinds.
What if they didn't play the bounty?
Oftentimes, it's kind of important to maybe think about the number of big blinds, not as
Right, that was one box.
the big blind individually, but also adding in that small blind ante on top of it. So at this level, for example, we have 15,000, 30,000 blinds with a 15,000 big blind ante. So when you guys are out there playing, maybe instead of thinking about your stack as 30,000
5 folds.
in relation to the 30,000 big blind, think of it more in relation to 45,000.
8 folds. 9 folds. 10 folds. 1 fold. 2 is all in.
Jacob gonna rip it here on Jack
3 folds.
and JT. The suited king.
4 folds.
Can't blame him for doing so. He's gonna pick up a couple big blinds.
Oh, suited king on the button. You're putting the pressure on your opponents. This is my favorite stage of the tournament here, where it's just everybody is on a fairly short stack, and the aggressor, the one who's picking up the blinds, picking up a lot of pots, is usually going to be the man that comes out on top. King queen suited under the gun for Chris here.
8 makes it 75.
Raises it up to 75. Started the hand with just about 18 bigs.
10
Oh,
folds.
Stacy gonna go ahead and fold ace queen here.
Wow.
1 folds.
I think Stacy's probably doing so. There's a lot of because there's a lot of action behind. He's one of those more top of the middle stacks,
2 folds.
meaning he doesn't really want to go to war with another big stack. He'd rather just see some small stacks behind. Have to duke it out.
4 folds.
And Panda here picks up jacks. I'd expect him to just put it in,
5 calls.
and I expected wrong. Should have known when he open folded nines earlier. Wow.
5
I like
checks.
the second nuts here for
8 checks.
Chris. He's gonna go ahead and check it back.
Love the check back there. This is actually a great flop for Panda's hand. Great board for Panda all around.
That Panda's gonna be extremely comfortable on this,
5 bets 100,000.
even though in reality he's gonna be drawing dead. Chris H. thinking of Vegas and the Mirage.
He puts in the flat call. Sad thing is, I think they have to change that now because the Mirage doesn't even have a poker room anymore.
5's all in. I call. 8 calls. Go ahead and flip, gentlemen.
Tough hand for Panda there.
Jacks versus the flush. He's got
Yeah, I got 300.
And just like that, we're gonna say good night to Panda. Panda, the next player eliminated here. Congrats to Panda on the deep run. Chris H takes down a big one. Should put him up
Make some money.
right near the chip lead, if not at the chip lead.
You made profit.
Yet another bounty for Chris H.
Yeah,
This
he's
is-
stacking them up there.
He's
You
got
can
to have
see.
almost $300
Yeah.
worth of bounties.
Hey, we're down to that.
Man's got 2 buy-ins.
I mean,
Just in bounties alone, and
nah, man. Nah.
plenty of money still to play for.
I'm still trying to take you down.
I will say, I've been a little surprised that, I think this is maybe the 3rd or 4th time I've gotten to commentate over a tournament. I don't think I've seen a chop yet. Not a lot of chopping
Well-
going on here recently.
Roles get reversed.
Dude, I had 68,000.
Part of it has to do with the stream and the trophy and everything. You know,
like
I
it.
think
Sevens they held.
when it's just a regular daily event, you know, maybe the money's not quite as big. Maybe the
That small.
I mean, it's crazy to say, but people go a little nutty over getting that trophy sometimes.
Absolutely.
You know, I've seen people that are like, "Hey,
You don't come here to chop, you come here to win.
I've seen people in my career have chopped for less money, but they want the trophy
It's the advantage of having a
Oh, I believe it.
because they want to take it home and show it. You know, show it to their friends, put it on their
Yeah.
mantle.
It's awesome. We got a great
I'm sure the
Jim,
wife.
Marissa, Steve, they all do a great job of, whoever's in charge of it, they do a great job of always making sure there's a nice trophy, particularly for these big events. And the plate takedown. Another thing we like about the reserve, as you guys can see there on that background shot, and over Sherry's shoulder there.
Small blind.
Plenty of Christmas, festive, decorating, ornaments, presents.
10 folds.
That Marissa spent a lot of time setting up.
1 fold.
Everybody really appreciates it. Enjoy kind of the overall environment that's been curated here at the reserve. And on top of that, doing a little bit to give back to the community. You can see all of the toys
70,000.
that have been bought as a result of donations from the players. We've been doing a $5 Toys for Tots promotion where $5 with any buy-in gets you an extra $5,000 chips. And that $5 goes directly towards the organization that is Toys for Tots, either in the form of a toy
I
or in a
think
cash
Sherry will
donation.
at least see a flop here.
9 calls 70. That's a toy that nobody's touching.
Toy for Eddie, maybe. Eddie gonna go diving around in there.
9 checks.
I think after this weekend, we might have that entire floor filled up with toys.
3 bets. 175.
Wow, interesting. Jack goes huge here.
9 folds.
I know my stuff from.
Sherry says, "You suck."
I did. You did, yeah, I did.
And just watching Jack play, I mean, he knows what Sherry has stack size wise there. So that bet was definitely purposeful and
2-5 short.
making sure that she folds any kind of marginal hand there.
Richest guy takes
25,000.
I tried.
No,
That's how I
I
got
had
these
a
chips, actually.
pretty super thing.
Shorted the big blind every time. It saved me a whole stack.
That's how you made all that money.
Yes. This stack right here was big blind cheats.
That's how you made it.
I told you what I had, what
There
you
was some maneuvering, but I did it.
1 folds.
They were suited.
Sherry and Jack playing a game of you tell me mine, I'll tell you yours. Oh, I said that wrong. You tell me yours, I'll tell you mine.
2 folds.
They can't wait for the stream later.
3 folds. 4 is all in.
GT all in here. On 9 big blinds, Queen Jack. Sherry with the Queen Jack suited. She's on the short stack now. She's gonna go ahead and get it in.
Sweet.
10 folds.
That way I
You
don't
beat
Red
me,
folds.
I'm sure.
What you got?
Queen Jack.
got the clubs.
But mine are clubs.
She's free rolling.
Don't club me, Eddie.
I'll take some
Please,
clubs.
sir. Please
Please.
don't club me. Please, Eddie.
JT asking Eddie not to club him over the head.
Come on, Eddie. All right. I'm safe.
This is going to be a chop. Gonna chop up the blinds here.
I lose money in the
Yeah,
pot.
I make money. Damn, surprised you
Both
called.
players going to make maybe
I
a
know,
big
but
blind
you make that move against
or
him,
so.
Yeah, Sherry said she lost money there, but she was the small blind, so she's actually they were chopping up the big blind and the big blind ante there.
If you make a move, 5-4, you make a move.
You wouldn't have called me with
What was the best?
7 players remaining. Again, this was a double green chip bounty tournament, $50 bounties. Those black chips that you see in front of each player's stack are the bounty chips.
2 onion.
I'm sure if you zoomed in close enough, you could see how much each player has.
Folds. 3 folds. 4 folds. 8 bet 75,000. 9 folds. 10 folds.
One in the big blind here. Suited middle or an unsuited middling ace. Kind of awkward to play, especially out of position. He's just going to opt to go ahead and lay it down. Don't mind it, especially when you're kind of in a middling stack. You don't want to get into the habit of thinking you're getting a good price, but then committing what would have been about 12% of his stack.
And it's very tempting with a decent sized ace there to just rip it in, but you're only getting called by better and probably not getting called by worse.
Yep.
Three folds. 4 folds.
Back on Chris H. And Chris has the opportunity to kind of set the tone a little bit here,
8 folds.
putting pressure on these middling stacks that are to his left by raising quite a bit.
510. 1 fold.
And Stacy opting again another very large sizing for these raises.
Yeah, Stacy came in as the chip leader, and this is the second hand that he's played here at the final table. He's played fairly conservatively with his big stack. But when he has come in, he's came in for gigantic raises.
Jacob
Choose all in.
gonna just go ahead and rip it in here.
10 calls.
Stacy's gonna have to call.
Yeah, Jacob has 260, so it was only 60,000 more for Stacy to call there.
I'm flipping one
How
out.
big?
Small. Flipping cards, guys.
Oh, you ahead of me.
What do you think? It's gonna be a chop?
Say 6.
I like the ace-7 here, and I can tell you a couple other people who like the ace-7. Jack, JT, Stacy,
Sherry, definitely.
Sherry.
And the 7 is gonna
It's
play.
not gonna get it done there. Stacy gonna go ahead,
That's tough.
take down a big one, knock out a player.
Yeah, I know.
Means everybody ladders a little bit.
Surprise.
Good play, man.
Breathe a little sigh of relief.
Alright, boss, what you want to do, man? You want to ride this out or you want to do a little chopping with that? I'll give you the big half. What you want to do? Take 350, I'll take the rest. I mean, I'll fight you. What you want to do?
Give me, what's the
Yeah, that's a
560?
very dejecting feeling. It's, I mean, yeah, you're behind, but ace-6 versus ace-7, you're just sitting there saying, come on, let's just chop it, let's just chop it, let's just chop it.
No big.
4 and a 5 come out there.
I like what was your offer? What did you say?
Definitely not ideal.
Yeah.
That's part of the swings of tournament play.
560 to 350. So you
Yeah, 350, man.
Alright.
And just like that, we're down to 6.
No, I like
I'm willing to fight for it.
4
You know, I
folds.
thought
We can chop, yeah. I'll take 350, you take the rest.
Alright.
I'm cool with it. You've been fighting a good fight. I like how you
And that
play.
countdown you hear in the background means the blinds are going up.
Push.
Should be at 20K, 40K.
Win this thing, then I'll feel like a total idiot.
We're not
You
doing
know what I
great.
mean? For not hooking you up.
I've turned it down before because being in your position and it bit me.
And There was a dead small blind there, and everyone folded, so Jack got to take his money back. I believe we are on break.
Sounds like the players are going to be taking a break here.
Fold C1. Fold C3. All in. Is all in?
And we're back. I heard an all in. Came down to blind versus blind, and
It's Jack.
JT calls him out, says, "You trying to steal my blind, huh?"
Yeah, I mean, JT has to defend with a suited ace here.
Yeah, blind versus blind, ace-7 suited, huge.
And note that we just went up to the 20K, 40K blind level. JT has less than 4 bigs, really.
Yep, good call there by JT. I mean, he basically had 25% of his stack already in there with the big blind and the big blind ante.
Yeah, and suited aces,
Best hand's got to win here.
just what you're kind of looking for in a situation like this.
Good luck, man.
Why did you do that?
Doesn't steal a lot of time.
What, against me?
You ain't gotta think about it.
Against me,
Terrible
bro?
advice.
Against me, Jack?
You got 60
Against
in.
me?
There's 60 already in.
And suited king there for Jack. I don't blame him for just ripping it in there either.
Yeah, I mean, from Jack's perspective, look, he's got 35%.
Pretty standard spot here. You can see it at the end of any tournament.
He could be ahead if JT had a hand like Jack 10 suited.
King 4 of spades, A7 of diamond. Yeah. Oh. Don't shoot.
Stacy said, "Whoops."
Best hand, hold up.
Camera's up there.
Couple
Pretty
of
good flop
diamonds.
there for JT.
Think can make it jack, king, or 4.
Picked up a jack.
Nice hand.
It's not going to get it done. JT's going to go ahead and win it with ace high.
Paid you off.
Get a much needed double up.
All it takes, man. All it takes.
Chipping a chair, leaving Sherry down there
He did.
at the bottom. Look at that. Jack goes from towards the top of the leaderboard down to the bottom just with a single hand.
Yeah.
From the short stack.
And that's pretty much how it goes. I mean, if you look at any of these, you know, let's say JT doubles through Chris, all of a sudden Chris is at the very bottom, you know, second to last from first place. So that's just how it goes with any of these tournaments at the end. When there's so few big blinds in play, anything can happen at any
Absolutely.
moment.
I mean, look, even the big stack at this point, Chris, he's only got 25 big blinds.
Yeah.
By a lot of standards, that's really not a lot.
Action on 9.
That's pretty strong.
But blind, yeah, absolutely.
Ace-5 off here for Sherry under the gun. She is going to be the big blind next hand.
9 folds 10.
I would have liked to see her just put it in there.
One,
Playing your position. I had to
1
pick
folds
one of
3.
It's tough. She's got an unsuited wheel ace there, but that being said, like you mentioned, she's
3
got
folds.
just a few big blinds left. JT could look to play a strategy where he just wants to raise as opposed to
4 moves all in.
getting it in. He'll opt to just go ahead and get it in here.
8 seat folds.
Chris makes the fold. JT says, "Good fold, sir."
Next time I'm not even looking.
So now the problem for Sherry is she's going to be in the big blind here. 40K big blind, 20K big blind ante. It's going to leave her with 125 back.
Thought it was strong.
You know, it's going to be tough for her to fold.
Just make it like one.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be looking for any sort of high card, relatively connected hand. And assuming
I got to price you out. You know,
assuming you get one of those, you're just going to have to kind of go with it and accept that sometimes you're going to be behind and lose, sometimes you're going to be ahead and lose. Some of the time you're going to be ahead in winning the hand, and when that happens, you're now all of a sudden back towards that middle portion of the leaderboard, and the pressure is no longer on you to make a move as much.
I kind of look at it as I like to control my own destiny.
270.
With the ace-5 off there, yeah, I know if I get called, I'm probably not in the best shape. I'm probably not even ahead. But now Sherry's in the big blind the very next hand with Jack 6 off. And there's not much, I mean, not much she can do. She's either has to straight up gamble, or she has to let it go and move on down 30% of her stack.
And Chris in that situation, just to kind of go back to what he just did there. So from the button, he goes ahead and shoots it up to about 275,000. That's a really big mistake from Chris. Here's why. Stacy in the big blind is the next biggest stack, almost matching Chris. Why would you want to go to war with such a massive raise size with the second biggest stack? You guys can effectively just kind of work together to put pressure on those small and middle stacks, pick up small blinds and antes as they look not to bust in front of Sherry or Jack.
Well, I think actually Sherry was the big blind there, and that was a blind versus blind situation. Because Chris is on the button this hand.
I'm pretty sure that in that hand, just one hand ago, Chris was on the button and opened into the blinds of Sherry and Stacy, but nevertheless, the point still remains when you're in a situation like this. And as you can see, the two big stacks are well ahead of the rest of the field. You don't really want to get into these massive battles with the other big stack. Let's work together to kind of put pressure on the other stacks, really put them to the test and continue to just ascend that chip stack.
And now ace-3 suited. This is going to be a hand where Sherry has to go. Unfortunate that she's going to run into a bigger ace here. JT just rips it in, 610K. Now there's a situation exactly like what you were just talking about. JT rips in 610K there with Chris and Stacy both covering him behind. It's a bit of ICM suicide. Is that the word for it?
I have used that phrase before. Again, you kind of just want to take into account the pay jumps, the relative stacks of the opponents behind you. How about
And
a
a
three,
three
though,
for Sherry? Ace-3 gonna double up.
Sherry gonna go ahead and spike a 3 there. She's not out of the woods yet, though.
Yep.
Still back to a small stack, but she'll be happy to take one down. While Brian goes ahead and gets the pot ready, we'll introduce 419 Appliances, located at 3270 Rulo here in Toledo. Principal owner Donzel Moore. Many of you that play here at the Reserve know Zell. Likes to play mainly cash games, but he's on this stream of plenty.
Yeah, even if you don't know him, you'll see him every once in a while sleeping on our live streams.
The man does like to take a little nap during the game, during the
Probably
lulls
because he's working so
sometimes.
hard running his business all
Running
day.
419 Appliances. 419 Appliances sells used appliances at a heavy discounted price. Stop by or call 419-917-2483 and ask for Zell. North on Secor, right before Lexus. Turn right, look for the balloons. Mention the Reserve Poker Club. Receive 25% off. That's 25% off when you mention the Reserve Poker Club at 419 Appliances. Big shout out to Zell, one of our favorites. Fun guy to watch on the stream. Comes and plays in here every week.
Never afraid to put money in there.
Never afraid to put money in there. Owen continuing to play patiently.
Stacy decides to use his stack size and position there to pick up a pot. Raises it up on the button and gets both blinds to fold. Sherry doubled up, so she's going to take the jacket off. It looks like she had a whole setup going on there. Some sort of height adjustment
On the 8 seat.
going on with her chair there. Extra pillows.
Raise is 100,000. Seat 9.
$100,000.
100,000. 9 folds. 10
Good
folds.
fold there from Sherry.
1.
I was really wondering if she was just going to go ahead and rip that in there.
Folds. 3. 3 folds. 4.
Let's see what JT wants to do here with a couple of middling cards here, semi-connected.
Looks like he wants to see a flop.
4 calls.
He will do so. So we're going to see
Heads up,
3
4
here.
seats first act.
Bingo. Bingo.
JT having to sit forward a little bit there just to make
You
sure he's
said,
got the nuts.
What is
Yeah,
that?
that looks an awful lot like.
No, that
Good
didn't hit
nuts.
me. Check it. Check it.
Good check from Chris here. This board's going to connect a lot with JT's calling range. Oh, just
Oh,
about
poor
the
Chris.
worst turn card. Smooth check here from JT.
That's 75,000. 4 moves all in. Call.
All in a snap call, and you can't blame Chris there. Great checks from JT.
JT lets him know I have the nuts.
Why you gotta make that call? You guys let that big blind go.
I tell you what,
All in is 375.
there's not much better feeling when you get all your money in a tournament and your opponent is drawing dead.
Thank you.
We will put out the inconsequential river card here. JT's going to get a massive double through Chris. And Chris here, Chris is now back towards the middle of the pack, and JT stepping in front.
And really, Chris has played solid. I mean, he really hasn't got out of line. JT was just in the big blind there and just decided to go with one. Sometimes timing pays off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stacy in the chip lead, 1.1 million. JT now in second, right under $1 million. 3 stacks down there in the 300K range, all under 10 bigs.
You were just laying in the cut.
Actually, if we use that formula where we add in the big blind ante, everybody's sitting with about 5 effective big blinds right now.
Down to 350 now.
Yeah, you did. That's how I feel.
Action on the 9 seat.
No, I don't mind, man. I really don't.
I think that gave you a little extra energy,
I
you know?
think
Because
you're
you've been,
right.
you've been
Now I
on
gotta
fire.
fight to
9
get that other
folds,
150 out of the
Yeah.
slot.
Seat 1. Folds. 3.
That 150 I so graciously gave up.
Something about that.
3 moves all in.
Yeah, right.
Jack on the button with ace 4 off.
Gave you like a inner
Good enough to shove.
rise to the occasion. Dude, look at you. I mean, you
8
were
seat
short.
folds.
And Chris can't come along.
Awesome game, man. You gotta love this game.
Gotta love it.
So fun. And then I hate it at the same time. I'm like, it's, what's the word I'm looking for?
Jack is very patient. He picks his spots.
It's gotten real now.
He does. He gets an ace there on the button. Only got to get through 2.
I'll think of it.
Go ahead and rip it in there. Try to take down
Wrong with that chip now.
80K in chips.
I ain't gonna call her though. She
Feel like that's more important poker.
courtesy double up. No more. Get him from that game. Your neighbor will give it to you.
What's, are you printing off yellow chips over there?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Action on the 10 seat.
Pull him out of my back pocket every other hand.
Stacy with Jack 10 suited here. Going to go ahead and fold.
1 moves all in.
That makes sense.
Owen says it's time to go.
He just gave me 450.
King Jack.
All in is
All in
offsuit here.
45,000. 3 folds. C4.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and Chris behind with kings there.
4 folds. Seat 8.
Boom.
8 moves all in.
Boom. We got fireworks. As long as I bust
9 folds.
Owen gonna be
that is
all in at risk.
Looking for a king here.
got the win since you
Or some sort of straightening cards.
my turn, kind of. I'll take your heads up.
Sherry back there hoping to see no king on this flop. No king so far. A couple of hearts working. Hearts no more. Owen looking for a king and a king only. It's not going to get it done, and Owen's going to be eliminated in 6th. Good game to Owen.
I look over and you're all in. You got a
And not a bad run there at the final table for Owen. He started this final table as a severe short stack. I don't think he was the shortest stack, but he was definitely in the bottom 3.
Absolutely.
No, I pushed yours back.
Okay. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, I was gonna say.
It's mine.
Yeah, because you wasn't all in.
Wait, I only got one.
That takes Chris right back up to around the 1 million mark. And Sherry is getting severely short stacked here.
And Jack and Sherry there. Playing as the short stacks.
But it was like it didn't count. It was like one of the first. Like it wasn't nobody.
Hate it.
Yeah, but it's still 15 minutes. You know, there's only like 47 people in the tournament.
Action on the 3 seat.
47 people.
When the total amount of big blinds in play is so low, I mean, you can actually
Raises.
fold yourself down to these sort of 5 big blind, a 7 big blind stack sizes, and still have enough fold equity to be able to ship it in there and get your opponents to lay down some somewhat quality
8
hands.
folds. 9 folds. Seat 10 folds.
Wasn't hard on the 7.
We'll fold around there. JT opening with 5s. And take it down.
Stacy ran away. Oh, he had to grab a snack.
Like I did the Brian Patton Sunday free roll, that 10K free roll or some shit.
Ryan gonna get us going on this next one.
Action on 4.
All I said was going into this, I said I'm just gonna punish Patton. I'm gonna show him a side of that he never seen before.
I'd expect JT to keep his foot on the gas here.
160.
4 raises to 160. 160,000. 8 folds. 9 folds. Seat 10. 10 folds. 3 seat. Folds.
JT putting the pressure on there. Taking down a couple. Like we mentioned, every round of big blinds,
I think I'm, yeah, I don't
that matters.
keep playing clean here. I don't wanna.
Yeah, I like to look at it as rotations around the table. So if we add up all the blinds, the small blind, the big blind, and the big blind ante, we're going to get 80K. For example, Jack has 355K, so you know, he could make it 4 times around the table.
40, 20 to the middle.
When you're 5-handed, they come around quick.
8 folds. 9. 9 folds. Seat 10. Folds. 3.
And ace-6 for Sherry. I would have liked to see her rip that in there, but now, of course, when you see Jack pick up ace-queen, hindsight's 20/20.
3 moves all in. 335.
JT asking for a count.
Just another one of those ugly spots here. Uncomfortable for JT.
Queen 10 suited looks pretty.
355,000.
gonna be behind almost every single time, though.
You said 355?
355.
Yeah, with Queen 10 suited, your best case scenario is that you're flipping. And something like 6s or 7s. Worst case scenario, you have about 20%. Jack has something like aces. Maybe a little less than 20%.
And JT's seen Jack already ship it in there with King 4 suited. I think that's what's going through his mind right now. How wide is he here?
Call.
He is going to go ahead and call, and Jack's going to be in a commanding position.
JT's not happy to see it.
Nice hand.
I like this move from Jack here. Get up,
I had to call there, I think.
fake everybody out,
You think?
make them believe.
Picks up a gutter ball.
Gutter ball with the Jack of Hearts working there. Oh, and a 10. Jack needing a king or an ace. It's not going to get it done.
Another great run for Jack here at the reserve.
Jack, man, a great
Man.
player.
He's been crushing it.
He's down. Out of this one, but I'm sure the man will be back.
Yeah.
We've seen him plenty at this point.
If we had a tournament leaderboard going on here, he'd definitely be near the top.
Throw that idea out there to Jim and Marissa. That would be a pretty fun
There we go.
month-long promotion.
That is a great idea.
Tournament leaderboard. Give everybody some points.
Gets the people
throw a little
going.
Promotional idea. Gets the people going. Speaking of people going, we've had a lot of players eliminated from this tournament
Yeah.
so far. We're down to the
Bang,
last
bang,
four.
bang. Looks like we are taking some chairs out, just getting everybody situated. We're down to 4.
JT up there at the top, 1.5 million in chips. He's got Stacy, Chris, and Sherry. Now the players are starting to get a little deeper. JT at about 40 big blinds.
And I'm gonna
Chris and Stacy a little over 20, closer to 25.
guess here that JT is gonna really start mixing it up. I see him just trying to win as many pots as possible at this point. I see him trying to gamble a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with Stacy or Chris's game, but JT's been at this stage in a tournament, you know, the final table in the live stream room a couple of times now. He's going to feel pretty comfortable, right? He's going to feel pretty confident in his game. JT was telling me earlier that he just kind of looks at poker a little bit differently now, just in the macro of what he's trying to do with his health, you know, with his mentality. He's going to be eager to play, but not afraid to put the screws to some people, maybe put some people to the test here.
Yeah, when you put it all together with the amount of live streams that JT's played, way more experienced than anyone else at the table combined. You know, JT plays the cash games and the tournaments. This is, like I said, back-to-back final tables for him. So you'll see him on the PLO final table. That's going to air Thursday night, and then this will be aired Friday. Wonder if JT can make it back-to-back tomorrow. I'd assume he's coming out for that $500 freeze out.
That'd be something. $500 freeze out tomorrow.
Jim, can you, he's looking for,
I had one bounty that guy.
he said he had one bounty that he was looking for,
It's not in your pocket.
that he had, I don't know.
Hey,
Well, I shipped in my
hold
stash.
on, look, I think he did, hold on a minute.
Yeah, I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
ship
Because
in my
who
stash.
did I knock out at this table? Did I knock out this guy too?
The players trying to get sorted. They think
I only knocked Jack out? If he's my only knockout, then this is it.
Okay, thank you, JT, appreciate that,
Because
thank
I
you.
had 4 coming to this room. Huh? So I only knocked out Jack, right?
So
Well,
am
then
I here or
That's his
here?
$50 then, by right.
Jim, is
Right
he
here,
in? Yeah,
box
here.
2.
So in case anybody wasn't following along there,
Seat seven.
the dark gray black chips are the bounty chips that you'll see on the table.
Seat 9 call.
When they got everything all in there, Jack was supposed to put one of his bounty chips in and somehow both of the bounty chips that he had, one that he already collected and one that went along with his stack, got pushed with the pot to JT. JT realized how many bounty chips he started the final table with. He verified that Jack was the only player that he knocked out, and he confirmed that he had an extra bounty chip and gave it back to Jack. Good sportsmanship, good etiquette all around.
Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't. It was just a call of the 30-60 blind.
Gonna go 3 ways here.
Yeah, you don't see that too often. Seven, eight, eight on the flop. Not too sure what anybody's playing with.
Check the round.
Everybody checks.
No, we had some diamonds out there, but doesn't matter because Chris is gonna
Ooh.
turn a boat here.
And like I kind of expected, JT with the big stack now is going to try to keep the momentum rolling. He's going to try to put some pressure on his opponents. Bad timing.
Stacy as well picking up a gutter here, I don't imagine. He'll be continuing. For Chris here, we have a very obvious call.
C4 calls one.
We're in position.
C9 folds.
A diamond would be disaster here for JT.
Couple things going through JT's mind. Obviously, we have the absolute nut low here. So we're not going to win this hand by checking. Conversely, do we think that Chris is going to be folding any of the hands that he
C2 bet 280.
would continue with on the turn? We're kind of targeting something like 7-6.
Yeah.
Or 7-10.
7-5, 7-10.
C4 is all in.
Very tough to get a 9 to fold there ever.
JT's going to go ahead and just snap folding like that. Chris is going to go ahead, take down a big one.
Kind of worried about him after me on that turn.
And the other thing about it is,
Chris, a little gamesmanship, can't help but smirk a little bit as he says it. We know that's not true.
the other thing about it is one of those hands that you would want to be targeting if you're JT to pull off a bluff there would be a missed flush draw, but since you already hold diamonds in your hand for a missed flush draw, it just makes it that less likely that Chris would have that as well.
It's really tough to find
C9 folds.
any combination of bluff there, unfortunately, from Chris's perspective. I think if Chris is going to raise, he has to do so really, really small. I mean, he's basically targeting a 9.
C4 folds. C7.
And Sherry with 260K in her stack. Well, you know, when I said you had your opponent, that's the best feeling. I don't know. Maybe when you're the complete short stack and you get a walk,
Yeah.
that might be a better feeling. With me, it's if I have that stack, it gets to the small blind and they rip it in every single time.
Absolutely.
And I can't blame them.
It's 30-60. It's 30-60.
You guys have been stuck in the last lot.
Blinds are up.
50.
30K, 60K. Wow.
That's why you got play hands.
C2 folds.
So Sherry is only going to be able to make it around the table twice with her current stack size.
C4 folds. C7 folds.
Sure, going to go ahead and fold here. Stacy's going to take a walk. And Adam, this is going to be the end of my broadcast for tonight.
Hey,
As Adam and I are working very late into the evening. I got to be up early for work tomorrow. Man, it was an absolute pleasure.
as always, as always,
I'll let him know. I'm sure we'll send somebody back here with you.
I can hold this down.
There you go. But everybody, thank you so much for, again, another wonderful turnout of a Reserve Poker Tournament. As you can see in the background, all the donations, all the support you guys have given the club is being now redistributed back into the community. It also goes towards putting on a lot of great events, bringing in great staff. Just want to thank everybody again for all their support. As Chris is going to go ahead and raise it up here.
C4 raises the
Ace Queen
150.
offsuit.
Or they would take the mics outside. C7 folds. C9 folds.
JT going to let him take it down. All right, everybody. That'll do it for me. Thank you all so much. But Adam is going to go ahead and see us out for the rest of the night.
Yeah, have a great night, Max. Get a little bit of sleep.
Yes, sir.
Coming back tomorrow?
I will be here tomorrow. Yes, sir.
4 players left. 1,800 for first, 1,270 for second, a little over 1,000 for third, 800 for fourth. Sherry is on the extreme short stack here. She's got 230K under the gun. Next hand, she is going to be the big blind. She's going to have to put 90K in there.
C2's all in.
And wow, JT is just, wow.
Big risk to win.
It's all good.
90K.
And Chris says big risk to win 90K. These players know that Sherry's on an extreme short stack here. So for JT to move all in against a player that has him covered, JT still has a lot of chips relative to what Sherry has. For him to just rip it in there with about as bad of a hand as you can get, it's one of those you just got to let go. You really just want to let Sherry get her money in before you try to pull off anything crazy like that.
Quiet down there, top blood.
In the zone.
And Max got out of here for the night, so they sent back a special guest here.
C9 raises the 225.
You saw him at the final table earlier, Panda.
What's going on, everybody?
You got to get that mic real close.
Get it real close.
Real
What's going on,
close.
everybody?
Real close.
Man.
So tell me what you were thinking. We saw you fold those 9s early on.
Oh, yeah, when I folded those 9s, I mean, that was, to be honest with you, I just didn't want to get involved that early. I mean, it was some lower stacks, and pocket 9s is just not gold. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
It
you
ended up being a good fold.
Yeah. So, you know, those jacks, I should have jammed. I should have jammed with the jacks. I don't think he makes a call with king, queen, and hearts. It was a masterful flop for him, though.
Well, and that's the problem. It was a great flop for you, too.
Yeah, it was. That's
It
what
was
I'm
a
saying.
great flop for you. It was a great turn for you. That's a tough situation.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you need luck. You know, you need luck in these tournaments.
For sure. For sure.
You know. But I enjoyed myself. 1 bullet. I had 6 bounties, so
Oh, nice.
I
That's a
dig it.
great night. Yeah, tough to say if he, Chris had a pretty big stack there, so it's tough to say whether or not he would have folded the king, queen of hearts.
I think he would have folded because I had
C7's all in.
440K. So I don't think he makes that call with king, queen.
Oh, wow, look at this.
200 fold. C4.
Ace, queen, ace, king, pocket 10s. Wow.
C7's all in for
Stacy.
140.
So Sherry in the small blind, all in for her last 140. Actually, it looks like Chris was on the button, raised this up to 200K. Sherry calls all in for less out of the small blind.
120 on the side.
And Stacy with pocket 10s calls out of the big blind.
I mean, she has to go all in right there. Short stack.
For sure. And I like Stacy just calling here and not
Three players, one all in.
reshoving.
Definitely for sure. 2's better than 1.
Yeah, you got a short stack at risk here. You got a chance to ladder up, get a little bit more money in your pocket.
C4 checks.
Check, check.
C9 checks.
That's a smart player. I'm glad they're checking. Oh, he's betting.
Uh-oh.
What are you doing? Why are you forcing him out?
C4 bets 150.
He's forcing him out.
C9
He
call.
makes the call. He's not going
He's
anywhere.
not buying it.
He's not buying it. There it is, a blank on the river. He could have saved his money.
Yeah, very curious why,
I mean, if you're going to take it down, at least
what the purpose was for Chris betting there.
exactly, because the only hand that calls you is the hand that beats you.
Great job. You did. Great job, man.
Good button.
Drive safe tonight.
A lot of people believe that checks means
You
you
barreled
weak.
the river, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do there. I'm so glad you checked.
I knew you had a pair.
Well,
I can't.
Sherry, she had a hard fight.
If you got a jack, I guess you gotta beat me.
I thought I was going to outlast her. She's a fighter for sure. I've been playing with her for over 15 years.
Short stack the whole final table.
Yeah, she wasn't playing around. She outlasted me.
Yeah, that was the thing too. Like,
Yeah, just going back to that again with Chris. You know, like even if, so you're Chris, you bet there with ace king high. I guess his goal was to get Stacy to fold, but even if you accomplish your goal of Stacy folding, you still have to beat Sherry, and you just have ace high.
And that's it. It doesn't even make sense. A lot of people do that. I don't know. I think they just don't be thinking. You know what I'm saying?
C4 folds. C9 calls.
That's all I can really say. They just don't think.
C2 checks.
You got a shade now? Hold on. Alright, I'm ready. You got yellow, I got blue.
It is something that if you're, you know, if it's like you've only been playing poker for a year, something like that, it's
Yeah.
not something that people are super familiar with. Definitely a more advanced type strategy.
Exactly. I mean, a lot of people, when it comes to these tournaments, a lot of people are novice, you know, when it comes to these tournaments. And then you got people who play cash their whole life, so they just try out tournaments because of the big payouts. And, you know, maybe they can run like God, you know. But that just makes no sense. Like, anytime I'm in a hand, when we're at the final table, and even if I got a big hand, I'm going to check it all the way down if I got 2-3 ways to put somebody out. I'm not running nobody off unless I got the absolute nuts.
Exactly. You know, and you get to the river there, you got the nuts, you got the second nuts, then you put some money out.
We consented to it.
Yeah, it really doesn't make sense, but hey,
C9 calls 60.
more people do it than don't.
C2 calls 60. Check. C4 checks.
Three-way.
JT, queen 7 off. We got queen 3 and king 5 of diamonds. King 5 is a strong hand. King 5 suited is a kind of a strong hand. Three ways. It's not bad. It's mediocre.
C2 check.
No, three-handed, it's definitely a strong hand. Especially in a blind versus blind situation.
C4 bets 80.
Chris leading out here with bottom pair. And no one else is really going to be able to continue unless JT wants to get spicy.
Well, JT is a habanero. He is a habanero, man. He gets spicy a lot.
That's what I was saying. I was just telling Max, you know, JT built up that big stack. He did, he doubled up Chris. But I kind of expected him to just keep his foot on the gas.
For sure.
He's not afraid to gamble. He's not afraid to mix it up.
Definitely. He love. And then when when he sits there, he's got so many tails. I won't tell anybody because I'm an active player. When I retire, I'll let you guys know.
30
But
more there.
yeah,
Oh,
he
if you
does.
notice something, here live, you gotta let us give us a little tip, maybe.
A little.
If you
tip.
if you pick up a live tell right now, we gotta hear it.
For sure. I mean, well, one thing that JT does a lot is
Because in 40 seconds,
when he
the blind
thinks
goes
for a
off.
long time, he's thinking about jamming. When he's always thinking about jamming, especially when his chip stack is not where he's comfortable. Because in his mindset, he thinks if you play for it all, a lot of minimal hands are going to fold to an all-in. And a lot of people don't want to play for it all, especially at the final table. I mean, the strategy works, but like I say, it works every time but the last time.
Yeah, that is one of my favorite sayings. You'll definitely see a lot of people just start jamming it in every single hand.
For sure.
Sounds like we're about to get another blind increase.
Next hand blind's 40-80.
40-80. We're getting wild now.
Are they playing this out? Did anybody bring up a chop while you were out there?
No. I mean, that guy right there, Stacy, was trying to chop the last longer, but he thought it was only 3 people in it. And then when I came in there, I was kind of late coming in, and then they found out it was 4 ways, and then they took that off the table. I mean, but I wasn't trying to chop it anyway.
C9 folds.
I played with Chris and what was it? I believe Deep Stacks had the and Matt River had the $1 Million tournament.
40 and 80.
And
Blinds are up to 48.
he ends up knocking me out, and I just told him like, you got me back because I knocked him out of the $1 Million tournament that they had. I had pocket 9. No, I had pocket 6s and he had pocket 9s. And I flopped a 6 on him and stacked him.
C9 folds.
So, he got me back. He flopped the world. I flopped like a little city.
Yeah, I mean, you got him in a $1 million guarantee. He got you in a 5K guarantee. Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's pretty even.
Definitely, for sure.
R.I.P. Deep Stacks. R.I.P.
For sure. It was a nice place, man, for it to be just go downhill like that. I think location means a lot too.
Well, we have
40 and 80.
we have a very loyal our customers, our members here.
What I can say is
They're the best, honestly, and that's all I can really say about that. I mean, there was a lot of competition when that room was here, and the players just kind of they spoke for it by still coming here and supporting us over and over again.
Here, wow, pocket kings for Chris. Huge hand, 3-handed. Ace 10, king 8 of diamonds. We might have fireworks here.
And Chris slow plays it just so JT, like I said, JT's keeping his foot on the gas here. He raises it up on the button, king 8 of diamonds, which I like it. I mean, king 8 of diamonds 3-handed on the button. Definitely want to be putting in a raise there, try to pick up the blinds. Chris getting tricky here, just calling with
Just
the kings.
Flat like a pancake. To be honest with you, I make the same exact move right there. Such a sneaky hand, and JT's probably going to stab.
And Chris knows that.
That's his identity. He just can't help himself. See what I'm saying? Just can't help myself.
Oh yeah, if you're JT, you see 7-3 deuce. You're like, what? My opponent can't hit that.
But he does have backdoor outs. He has backdoor outs for diamonds, so. I wonder if it's going to be a
Chris
diamond
gonna
on the
keep.
turn.
He's gonna keep the slow play going. He's
Same
trying
thing
to
he
win
did
it
to
all
me.
on this hand.
Yeah, same thing he did to me. He's flattened, just the flat guy. Chris the flat.
He has made some hands at this final table for sure.
One being against me.
Oh, there it is.
The diamond.
Now JT needs to check this and try to realize his equity.
Good
Great
job,
check
JT.
there, JT.
Slow down.
Doesn't get there.
Well, he's got a lead. He checks again.
Wow. Chris has showed so much weakness on this hand.
Exactly.
And Jay gets JT to put it in there. What a slow play by Chris. I can't see him ever folding here. I mean, if you play the hand this way,
unless he put him on clubs, I mean, it's a straight out there. I mean,
yeah, you
I
lose
mean,
to 4-5. You
I
know,
wouldn't be
I mean,
mad at a fold here, though. I wouldn't be mad at a fold here.
C4 folds.
You win, Miss fucking Diamonds. God damn it. I think good call. I mean,
and JT tried to keep it going. Chris with
Call for sure.
Yeah.
If you had it, you had it.
yeah. What can I do?
Okay.
It was the only way for me to win. He wouldn't put Diamond up
A masterful slow play there from Chris.
JT.
And I think when you play that hand as slow as Chris did, you kind of have to call on the river there because you're just at
You almost do. I mean, to be honest with you, I make the call there, but like I said, I wouldn't have been mad at a fold. I definitely wouldn't have been mad at a fold. I mean, because, you know, three-handed, you can get away from the hand. He didn't have that much invested. You know what I'm saying? And it's still only one pair. Still only one pair. You know, it's a straight out there, a flush out there, two pair outs, set, any of those things. JT would have did the same exact thing with big hands.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying. When you're three-handed, it's tough to wait around for big hands sometimes.
It is for sure. But like I said, I've been in that same exact predicament. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I call, and the guy has a monster. You know what I'm saying? You know how these cards run.
And a lot of it is, like you kind of just said there, sometimes you have to play the player.
For you, man. You know, like you do me always. You always do me good. You've been doing me good since Dollar King. And man, you just didn't come in here, man. I probably would have took this down if you'd have been in there. I don't know, man. I think we should.
That's the thing. See, now they know that I can come back here and do this. So we get down to the final table. They ship me off back here in my little cage.
Yeah. And let you do your thing.
Yeah.
Right? That's crazy.
And I like it. I like it.
That's cool. I didn't like it because you wasn't out there.
Yeah.
I might have to hate on you a little
I
bit.
do try to be there for my people, but I have so many people.
Yeah.
It's tough to be there for everyone, you know?
You know, as a poker player, you know, when you got your dealer that does you so good, you just think he's your dealer.
For sure. 100%.
My dealer's showing up, he might have 6 guys at that table.
Yeah, I know. It's just too many. Yeah.
But you never really do me bad.
You want?
I'll give some credit to the player as well in that situation.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's about you not putting yourself in bad spots, too.
Yeah, really. I mean, I've learned a lot playing this game. Definitely learned a lot playing this game.
Give me 4 more for the green.
We're doing a quick color up here because Chris had a ton of pink chips.
1 million.
And if we're going to be shipping all ins back and forth, it was just going to be way too much work for our dealer.
Right, for sure.
We only got 8 minutes left of that.
300. And there's
Look
300.
at my boy Tim, man. The man with the shortest arms in history.
I'm not worried about the yellows because I don't have any room for them, man.
So yeah. Small blind. Yep.
Oh, he's small?
Hold
the
him
button's
tightly.
small.
The arms are too little.
The button's
His
always
arms
small.
are little, man.
I always forget.
Yeah, so you got 40.
Trying to think of a good story here. The last tournament that actually chopped here, we were down to the final table. I think there was 5 or 6 of us left. I was in the big blind. Had like 75K, and the blinds were 5 and 10.
Okay.
3 people limped, so I just stuck the rest of my chips in with 7-5 off.
4 calls.
Ended up getting called by 6-5 suited, and 7 high held.
Wow.
I went and doubled up there and went on to win it.
Went on to win it with 7 high. You can't teach that, Adam.
No.
You
9
can't teach that,
checks.
bro.
Usually I only remember the bad B stories. That's one of the few win stories that I
4 bets.
remember clearly.
I don't know-
7
I don't-
high, you know.
I don't know if you remember this or not. I don't know if you remember this or not, but
9
one of the biggest hands of my life. I mean, to be honest with you, the biggest hand of my life happened at Dollar King. And you remember when we used to do, at the end of the night, we used to do like those $100
They're going to a hand.
Showdowns.
So,
I would be down.
anyways, like before we got to the $100 showdown part,
7 minutes would be
I think I bought in, because you remember I used to buy in short and just run it up. So,
Everybody did back in the day.
yeah, I bought in.
I used to work 5 hours to make $50, then buy in for 50.
I bought it for $120. I ran the $120 up to $1,600.
300,000.
So you know they got the cooler, and you know we were able to walk around and walk away from the table. They didn't muck your hand. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, I'm over getting something to drink, and they're like, you want to call? You want to call, bro? And I'm like, yeah, I'll call. I mean, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
But, you know what I'm saying? I want to call. I get over to the table. Everybody's snickering and laughing, and I'm like, what's going on? I called 150 pre. 150 pre.
That was dirty.
dirty. They're laughing. But like I said, I'm in for 120 bucks. I'm up 1,600. This is what I say. I say I probably got aces. And I'm like, they're like, the way you've been running, you probably do. So I look down at my hand at them. I got aces. I got aces, bro. I say, and I say it. I said, I got aces. I really do. They're like, yeah, okay. All right. So 4 of us to the flop. 4 of us to the flop. You know, it's super action out there, Dollar King. And flop comes ace, king, jack, rainbow. So they're laughing and joking. I guess you got top set. Guess you got top set.
I almost let out
So
the flop, but I was
I'm like, I do.
obviously,
I'm still like just playing along with it. You know what I'm saying? Going along with it. Guy jams. He jams for like 700 bucks. He goes all in for 700 bucks. Another, and the guy right behind him goes all in too for like 1,200.
It's a dream.
It's a dream, but I'm like, at the same time, I'm like, if they got Queen 10, God bless them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, God bless them. I'm like, I got top set. Where am I going? Where am I going? So obviously, the guy next to me folds, and I snap call. I roll over the set. Bro, the hand is set over set over set.
What?
Ace, kings, and jacks, bro.
I did that one time in my life as a dealer.
Turn card is a king.
No.
River card, ace, bro.
Oh, what?
Swear to you, bro. It was so crazy, man.
What?
Dude went outside, bro, and kicked so many dents in his
Tires. I was
car,
about to
bro.
say,
Like, he
I'd be
kicked-
kicking tires all
Man, it was
night.
crazy. It was a beautiful night, man. I'm like,
I would have headed right next door to the old MT Loonies.
Exactly.
Said I need a shot of this, a shot of that.
I was wishing that would have happened at a casino. It would have been a bad
Right,
beat, you know what I'm
right,
saying?
for
But-
sure. Of course that happens at a charity room.
But what I can say is I wasn't mad about the results, you know?
All right. So Chris has built up a pretty big chip stack here. He's got 3 million. Stacy's all in for 545.
King 4, he's not calling. He's played too well to call there.
surprised you didn't shove those nines.
Yeah, I should have, I guess.
It's been an easy game for him, though.
I thought 300 would get it done.
I'm going to go back and watch his other hands, but, I mean, to be honest with you, he's had solids.
He really hasn't had to get out of line because he's had hands on almost every occasion here at the final table.
But what I can say is he is an aggressive player. He is an aggressive player, and to novice players, he'll run over a table. He'll run over a table because he knows what to bet and how much to bet. You know what I'm saying? And that in itself can be dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you got a table full of nits and, you know, novice players.
And where that's really worked out for him is, you know, everybody sees aggression, aggression, aggression,
And then he wakes up with hands like
and
woke
then
up
he
against
makes
me.
the nuts.
Yeah,
King, queen of
exactly.
hearts, he flops the flush.
Exactly.
9-8 on the other hand, he's got top boat, you know, like
Yeah.
he's been picking up monster hands.
Then he
And
picks up kings versus JT. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So, what was it? What did Stacy have that hand? It was it ace queen,
ace queen.
ace queen, king 8, and pocket kings, right?
Yep.
Man, that's huge. That is huge hands for 3-handed. Pocket
Actually, I think
sixes.
Stacy had ace 10, but still,
Oh, ace 10. Yeah,
three-handed,
it was ace 10, it was.
three-handed. That's still a huge hand. Let's see. I don't even know what time it is right now. We started this tournament at 6:15 today. We're coming up on 2 a.m., just after 2 a.m. So these guys have been with us for 8 hours, grinding it out.
Grinding it out.
All in.
Okay, we got another all in.
Looks like Stacy went all in there. Or no, looks like Chris went all in and Stacy called. I
Oh, he
apologize.
folded.
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 I got kind of confused there. It looked like he had all his chips pushed forward.
That's what got you here, man.
That's what got me here. I fought hard. I fought so.
He did fight hard. You got to give it to him.
Hey,
I mean, down to 70K to maybe he should have got him in. What did he fold? Jack 9?
yeah.
Jack 9. I mean, in that position, I think I'm ripping it with Jack 9 right there.
Well, like I was,
He's got 465K. I mean,
talking to Max earlier about how I kind of view tournaments, late stage tournaments here. I like to add up all the blinds, the antes. So we're at 40K, 80K with a 40K big blind ante. That's 160K every time you go around the table.
Exactly. I mean, he's got him 4-1 in chips. I mean, if you want to stick around and win this game, I mean, you got to get in there. You got to get it in. Okay.
And another fold, you know, and it's just like Stacy folds a couple hands in a row, and he just lost half of his stack. Not quite, you know, but in essence, he was up over 500K.
Yeah, hands like Jack 9, you know, King 8, Ace 4, Ace 5, pretty much any ace in that point. I mean, you wanna get it in.
Well, even then, if you don't get to this spot a lot in the end of tournaments, you don't really realize how wide you have to open up your range. And at some point, when you get down to this 4 blind, 5 blind stack, you just gotta gamble.
Exactly. And like I said, a lot of people don't know the strength of hands.
Yeah.
You know, the strength of hands change so much. You know what I'm saying? And that in itself, you know what I'm saying, makes people
And here we go.
better at the game. Okay, here we go.
King
All
5
in,
of
all
spades
in.
for Stacy. Can't blame him for getting it in there.
All
King,
in and a
a
call.
suited king heads up is a strong hand. Unfortunately, he runs into a monster. It just seems like it's been Chris's night tonight, especially at this final table. Hand after hand.
It's a queen.
There's a queen. Chris is looking
Oh,
for a king or
man.
a 5.
He's running like Jesus.
I'm sorry, Stacy was looking for a king or a 5 there, and Chris is going to win the whole tournament.
There it is. He took it down. Took it down. Oh, man, I would have played better if it was a trophy involved. I didn't know
You
that.
didn't know about the trophy?
Oh, my God.
That's what I was...
Oh, my God. I can't believe it.
This was fun. I'm glad they had you come back here.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, thanks a lot for joining us, guys. This was aired on Tuesday. We're going to be streaming this live on Friday. So if you're watching this right now, come out on Saturday tomorrow. $50,000 guaranteed main event, $100 buy-in, $100 re-entries. We have flights at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Temp, thanks for joining me. I had a lot of fun.
Listen, man. Listen, Adam, you're one of my favorites, man. It was a pleasure. I'm glad that they looked me up to come back here, and
We always need people back here in the booth.
Hey, I don't mind doing it,
Maybe even I know JT said he wants to commentate for the dealer. We have a little dealer tournament going on in a couple of weeks here,
That'd
so
be nice.
maybe you and JT has a little dual commentator special.
Oh, we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen.
Well, thanks a lot for coming out and joining us tonight, guys. Again, this was a double green chip bounty tournament, and Chris took it down. $1,842 for first place. He ran well. He picked up some big hands at the final table. It was fun to watch.
He definitely did. And the guy that takes my chips, I always hope for him to win.
Exactly.
I always hope for him to win. You know what I'm saying? And he did it.
Well, this is Adam Suggs signing out.
Panda.
Panda,
Big
thanks for joining me. It's been a lot of fun. Panda,
sure.
Panda, Panda, Panda.
I got bros in Atlanta.
Have a good one, guys. Thanks a lot.
Yep, thanks for having me.